Good morning students, welcome to our online classroom on Psyche. Before moving to our next chapter, let us recall all the freedom fighters of our country, especially father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi. You might have studied in Indian history that what happened to him when he was there in South Africa. He went there for his studies as a lawyer, and while he was traveling in a train, he was pushed out from the train in the name of racial discrimination. So that was the practice which was going on in South Africa in those days. This racial discrimination based upon the race of the people. So that is called apartheid. Like for us, Mahatma Gandhi, there also arose a leader named Nelson Mandela to fight against this for the South African people. Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom is his autobiography. Let us see what is said in that chapter by the great leader Nelson Mandela.
The chapter Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom is an extract from Nelson Mandela's autobiography, Long Walk to Freedom. In it, Mandela talks about a historic occasion, the inauguration of the largest gathering of international leaders on South African soil to establish South Africa's first democratic non-racial government. In his address to the assembled leaders of the world, Mandela salutes a glorious human achievement which all humanity can be proud of: the establishment of a just and free society that shall never again witness the oppression of one by another. On this day, Mandela is overwhelmed by a sense of history. It is the last decade of the 20th century, and the world was witnessing the overthrow of an inhumane system of racial segregation that had been established in its first decade. The highest generals of the armed forces and police, who only a few years ago would have arrested Mandela, were now saluting him and pledging their support. Such a historic day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of the African people. Mandela mentions that the struggle had produced some of the finest leaders the world had ever known, and whose like may never be known again. Indeed, it is the people of South Africa who are its greatest wealth, more than its fabled gold and diamonds. Mandela says that no one is born hating another person because of the color of their skin or their religion. People are taught to hate, and if they can be taught to hate, they can be taught to love as well. Love comes more naturally to the human heart than hate. During his interment, Mandela had seen the flicker of humanity in his guards, and that had been enough to restore his faith in the capacity of the harshest oppressor to feel love. Mandela says that a man has twin obligations, one towards his family and the other towards his community and country. But in South Africa, it was impossible for a person to fulfill both these obligations. A man who wanted to live a life of dignity and honor would be punished and isolated, and if he spoke up for his people, he would be ripped from his family and forced to live a life of secrecy and rebellion. As a young man, Mandela realized that his freedom was already taken from him. As a student, he did not have the freedom to read what he liked or go where he pleased. And as a young man, he did not have the freedom to achieve his potential, earn his keep, marry, and have a family. It was then that he began to hunger for freedom. Later, when he saw that he was not alone, but that anyone who looked like him was unfree. He realized that he could not enjoy even the limited freedoms that he had. He realized that freedom was indivisible. The chains on his people were chains on him. This is when he joined the African National Congress. Mandela makes a very insightful observation when he says that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. The oppressor is a prisoner of hate. He who takes away the freedom of another is imprisoned by prejudice and narrow mindedness. By robbing others of their freedom, they rob themselves of their humanity. So, that was a summary of the chapter. Now, there are some significant stages in the narrative. One is Mandela's inauguration as the first black president of South Africa. Another one is Mandela's tribute to the other heroes of anti-apartheid movement. A third one is a positive consequence of apartheid. Fourth one, faith in the inherent goodness of human beings. Fifth one, apartheid created a deep conflict in the lives of the natives. Sixth one, the conflict culminates in Mandela joining the African National Congress. Seventh one, an oppressive system dehumanizes both the victim and the oppressor. So these are the major stages in the narration. So what was the positive consequence of apartheid? Here, Mandela wants us to remember apartheid not only for the long-lasting wounds it left on the psyche of the people, but also because it brought forth a great reservoir of courage in them and inspired these people to fight for the cause of human freedom and dignity. He counts this collective courage of the people as the greatest wealth of his country. So this is the positive consequence. The courage that apartheid could bring up in the minds of the people is a positive consequence of apartheid. Mandela joining in the African National Congress was the most significant event in his life. Another significant narration in the chapter. It became significant because this was when his desire for personal freedom collapsed with the larger goal of attaining freedom for the people of his country, thus completing his transformation from a private man into a political and human rights activist. So this is another significant narration in the chapter. Now you have to read the text thoroughly and understand all the major points mentioned in the chapter. Thereafter, write the examination. Don't forget to take down the notes given in the end of the session. Hope to see you again in our next session. Thank you. Have a great day.